If you've been told to just cut out sugar and to take antifungals, you're missing a bigger part, the bigger picture behind Candida, because Candida isn't the problem. It's a symptom of the problem. And that problem comes down to nutrient deficiency and toxicity. You guessed it. And if you don't address that problem, it's just going to keep coming back. So, in this video, we'll go over why Candida is recurring and why you're having trouble treating it and why it's causing you debilitation in your life, as it has for me as well. Because Candida is far more than just a white, patchy tongue or coated tongue. It has impacts on your brain and your brain fog and how your mind works and your attention and focus and energy, and is often the culprit behind what many people call adrenal fatigue. And so you're going to learn today about the nutrient deficiencies and the toxicities that contribute to your Candida overgrowth, because it's not an infection. Candida is a natural part of your gastrointestinal tract. And it's actually, call me crazy, it's actually trying to do you a favor. That is the biggest mental shift you can possibly make. Let's get into it. So, we're going to be going over the mainstream approach to Candida and what everyone is getting wrong, including some of your favorite natural health doctors on YouTube. And I have nothing against them. They're just missing a crucial piece of the puzzle. And I want to give that to you. So, this is why your Candida protocols are failing. The conventional way to look at it is just cut out the sugar, right? Because Candida thrives on sugar. And that can be an important part of the equation. But what sugar? All sugar? Are we talking about fruit and honey as well? Are we talking about the natural sugars that come in whole food packages that are designed by our creator with probably some wisdom behind it? Interesting. Or are we talking about the hyper processed sugar, like the artificial flavorings and the added sugar and all of the crap processed foods that we're all eating? But the truth is that that's only part of the equation, because Candida thrives in a toxic and nutrient deficient body. So you cannot just cut out the sugar and remove the food source and expect your Candida to get better. I mean, it very likely will improve, but how long are you going to keep that up? And as soon as you eat sugar again, it comes back. The conventional view is that you need antifungal meds and herbs. But the truth is that killing Candida doesn't mean that you're fixing the underlying issue. You're actually missing the underlying issue. You cannot, this is a fundamental truth here, you cannot kill your way to health. It's as simple as that. And that is a deception that was placed on us back in the 1900s. The silver bullet mentality, where you can just take a medicine like an antibiotic or an antifungal and all your problems are solved. The conventional way of thinking is that Candida is an infection because everything is an infection, right? But actually, it's opportunistic overgrowth. Candida is already part of your gastrointestinal tract. It's supposed to be in balance with the other yeasts and bacteria and all the things that make up your microbiome and your entire gastrointestinal tract. So Candida is not just on your tongue. It is down your esophagus, in your stomach, in your gut, all of that. Conventionally, you're also told to take probiotics, but probiotics are only part of the picture. You have, certainly they will be helpful, and certainly I recommend certain probiotics, but you're missing a key aspect. You're missing the toxicity aspect when you only take probiotics. You'll also hear that die-off symptoms means that it's working, but actually, strong reactions, I mean, yeah, it's true. It does mean that it's dying, but strong reactions mean you have improper drainage. So your drainage funnel, right? So the organs that are involved in excreting waste from the body are not functioning up to snuff. You need to support things like your liver and your gallbladder and your kidneys and your having bowel movements and all that kind of stuff in order to properly detoxify the system and allow the toxins to get out. All right, guys, so let's talk about the real underlying causes for your Candida overgrowth. And if you hear my dogs playing in the background, I am sorry. So let's go to the whiteboard again. The real root causes of Candida. We're going to start here with toxicity. This is the key piece that you are likely missing and that has not been told to you. Candida is actually your friend because it is trying to protect you from toxins like heavy metals, pesticides, mold exposure, and industrial pollutants. These are contributing to the picture of Candida. So if you're not getting rid of these things, that's why your Candida is coming back or is reticent to treatment, meaning it's not responding to treatment as it typically would. But this is the fullest picture of a real root cause because you're never going to be able to isolate it down. It's very unlikely that you'll be able to isolate it down to just one thing and then move on with your life. This is an invitation to say, oh, I get it. Now I can change some fundamental things about my body and about how I live, and I can get this incredible health and vitality back that lasts. So toxicity is one of the key pieces that you're missing. Candida is trying to absorb things and protect you like a sponge soaking up dirty water. That's exactly what's happening. The second piece of the puzzle is nutrient deficiency. You're probably likely, now this is kind of a catch-22 because the toxicity is driving nutrient deficiency and the Candida is further driving nutrient deficiency. So you're kind of caught between a rock and a hard place, but we do need to start at least repleting and replenishing these nutrients in their whole food complexes, their whole food forms, so that you can actually really start to resolve the underlying picture contributing to the Candida. Let's do this. Now, another thing to consider is that these nutrients are involved in your body's natural protection mechanisms, such as stomach acid and bile. So you need these nutrients to make stomach acid and to have healthy bile flow. And just to be very clear, I am not talking about isolated, cheap synthetic forms of these nutrients. I'm not telling you to go take a B complex necessarily or to high dose on zinc or whatever everyone else is telling you to do. Because when you do that, you're robbing Peter to pay Paul. You are going to have consequences down the line. You're going to drive other nutrient imbalances. So let's do this right from the beginning. Let's do this with the whole food nutrition and whole food nutritional supplements. So I'm not against supplements. I love supplements, but the right supplements are what's really going to give you your health back. And that is fundamental to everything you may be struggling with, if it's Candida or anything else. So consider here that deficient bile flow leads to from lack of these nutrients and from interference from toxins and from interference from Candida. I know this sounds like a lot, but the deficient bile flow leads to poor digestion, which further exacerbates or makes worse the fungal overgrowth. So, when we're talking about Candida, we're talking about a fungus. We're talking about mold. It's the same thing. Not the same thing, but it's fungal in nature. So, if you have one, you're probably experiencing difficulties with the other. This is why I say you won't be able to isolate it down to one specific thing because it's an ecosystem inside your body of all types of different things. You have probably parasites and mold and candida and toxins. It's all working together to contribute to the entire picture of your struggles and conditions and diagnoses and all of the things. So we need to support proper bile flow. There's all types of strategies to do this. There's supplements to help do this. There's exercises to help do this. There's nutrients to help do this and foods that encourage it. One of the main foods to help with bile flow is beets. So ultimately, it's getting off of the processed crap and eating real foods like your grandmother would have eaten. Whether if they're cut off an animal, pulled out of the ground, or off a tree, or off a plant, that's real food. The third and one of the biggest factors that many people overlook is dysregulated blood sugar and circadian rhythm disruption. Now, these aren't really separate things. I'm just talking about both. But ultimately, it is the circadian rhythm that dictates a lot of the rest of the equation here. So, because your circadian rhythm, we're talking about your master hormones such as leptin, insulin, cortisol, and melatonin. And yes, melatonin is a hormone. So, consider that when you may be taking it every night. But your circadian rhythm and these master hormones are contributing to your dysregulated blood sugar. So these hormones we need to give our body the signals to regulate these hormones so that we can have proper blood sugar regulation. Now, a huge part of Candida is also the mental emotional piece, which I didn't really put in here on this triangle, but I mean, this is the biggest part that you could possibly be concerned with. If you've done all of this and it's still troubling you, then we need to look at our adrenal health. And I look at adrenal health from the beginning as well and supporting adrenal function because there could be underlying emotional issues that you're struggling with, those toxic emotions that you're holding on to. There may be somebody that you need to forgive or something that you need to move on from. And this is very important. Or maybe it's just as simple as learning how to calm down, right? How to actually effectively control your rampant emotions. But a lot of that comes down to the physical aspect, the physiological aspect. Focus on the physiology before you try to fight all of the thoughts and emotions and everything coming up. Because I guarantee if you focus on the physiology, nourishing yourself, removing the things that don't need to be there, you are going to make dramatic changes in your mental health as well, mental emotional health. So I always say, 80% of the equation is going to be physical. And that's why I focus on this, because there's tons of issues in the physical plane. And obviously there's more to it. There's spiritual, mental, emotional. Those things are extremely important as well. But when we're talking about actually getting a hold of Candida and healing from it and getting rid of it, so to speak. You're not really getting rid of it. The physiological is extremely, extremely important. There's also likely structural issues as well, which is why I talk about proper human movement and strengthening the body, realigning the physical body so that things can flow optimally. Your drainage pathways are open, your energy is flowing. This is the wisdom and the stuff that comes a lot from the Eastern side of the world that is a piece of the puzzle that they really get and we really fail at epically in the West. And another reason that circadian rhythm disruption is so important is because chronic sleep issues and stress weaken the immune system and allow the candida to actually stay overgrown. So that is a crucial piece of the puzzle that we've got to got to get down, or you're just going to be fighting an uphill the whole time. So as you can see by this real root cause picture, you don't have a candida problem. You have a toxic, nutrient deficient, dysregulated body. So let's talk now about how to actually regulate things and get you healing, get your life back on track. So we've talked about the real underlying root causes. Now let's talk about 3 steps you can begin implementing today so that you can start creating the proper terrain for your body to heal. If you go to my previous video, we're going to be revisiting a lot of stuff. You're going to be seeing triangles. You're going to be seeing spirals. You're going to be seeing things that were these repeating, recurring themes, because I'm trying to reinforce and drive home the most important things. And it almost always comes down to simple shapes, almost, I guess you could say. So you'll see some recurring themes. This is the spiral of regeneration that we covered in my previous video. And you'll see that coming up quite a bit. So the first step that you can take today to start on this process is to open your drainage pathways. Ways to do that are to support your liver detoxification and bile flow. So foods like beets and bitter herbs and bitter foods and choline is essential for bile flow. And you can get that from egg yolks. Ideally, you want them, almost sneezed there. You want them as raw as possible, these egg yolks. So everybody's telling you to avoid egg yolks, and yet they contain one of the most crucial nutrients, choline, to your brain function, your bile flow, your liver function. All kinds of amazing downstream things come from the multivitamin that is nature's multivitamin that is an egg. You also want to get sweat going. Things like sauna, whether it's dry heat or whether it is infrared. I don't really care. Just get some sweat going in a way that works for you. I like sauna. I love sauna because you don't have to actually do anything besides sit there. There's, all kinds of ways, as you well know, to get sweating, but you need to get sweating. Lymphatic flow. This is a huge part of the puzzle. Your blood, these toxins are interfering and basically polluting your blood, and it's interfering with really the best blood flow that you could possibly have. So we want to get that blood flow going, and we want to get that lymphatic flow going as well. And if you want to see your doctor look at you like he's completely shocked, ask him about the lymphatic system, because we don't learn about that in modern medical school or nursing school for me. Proper hydration. This is huge. You need to flush out the crap, flush out the toxins. This does not mean chugging as much water as you possibly can. This means drinking when you're thirsty, and also making sure you're drinking filtered water at, whether it's reverse osmosis or distilled or a good natural spring water. You still need to be diligent about the spring water because who knows what kind of pollutants are getting into that spring water. It is unfortunately really difficult to know that you are drinking clean water that doesn't have radioactive elements in it. And yes, that actually occurs. So it's difficult, guys. But once you get the systems set up, it becomes very easy. It just becomes how you live your life, and that's the ideal for healing and staying healthy. One big thing here, minerals. And this minerals are huge in all three steps because Linus Pauling, there is no disease or all disease is caused by mineral deficiency. Minerals are no longer really in our soils. The uptake by our plants is being uh, ruined by pesticides and fertilizers. So there's a dramatic imbalance in the soil, and that goes into the plants, that goes into the animals, and that goes into us. So we don't have the minerals that we've had in the past. Some of my favorite sources of minerals are fulvic and humic complexes or acids. So plant-based minerals, soil-based minerals. There's a great company. I have my practitioner supplements that I really love that are fantastic. There's also a great company that called Beam Minerals that you can get liquid humic and fulvic acids minerals from. It's BEAM Minerals. I really love that. It's tasteless and extremely effective. Minerals are a huge part of the foundation, and regardless of what what you're doing and what you think you need to do or what you're trying, minerals will elevate the effectiveness of what you're trying to do because they are the catalysts for the reactions in the body. Step 2, we need to rebuild, speaking of minerals, rebuild nutrient stores. We can do this very effectively with good nutrition, but sometimes targeted supplementation is needed as well, oftentimes, and that's really making it a lot easier on yourself. But if you don't want to supplement, you don't necessarily have to. It's just going to take a little bit longer. So whole food B vitamins from things like liver, eggs, meat, royal jelly, nutritional yeast. There's all kinds of amazing sources of whole food B vitamins, but these are some of the most these are the most concentrated forms that you can find. This doesn't necessarily mean go crazy on the liver. You can do too many organs, and there's you need to be careful about the people you see on social media who are just like flooding their body with organs. You can overdo it. Let nature be the compass. We used to kill one animal and share the organs amongst the tribe. So you weren't eating necessarily a whole heart or liver to yourself all the time. So consider that when you're supplementing with organ supplements or including organ meats in your diet. Less is more to a certain extent. Magnesium, best source of magnesium is dark leafy greens, especially kale and things like that. Now, I don't subscribe to dogma about all the stuff about leafy greens being terrible for you from the carnivore community or being the best thing in the world for you from the vegan community. We can cut right through the middle and we can recognize that leafy greens have good nutritional value. And I'm not necessarily saying to eat them raw. You can absolutely, but to cook a lot of your leafy greens, that makes them far more digestible and gets rid of those potentially problematic and gut irritating anti-nutrients. So next one is zinc. You can get plenty of zinc just from eating oysters and organ meats and muscle meats, and you'll be ready to go. But oysters are the highest source of natural zinc, as well as things like pumpkin seeds are good as well, good sources. But I defer to the animal nutrition because it's easier to digest and, um, or it's easier to break down and for your body to access. So it's bioavailable. Your body can easily grab the nutrition and use it as it needs to. Step 3 is going to be balance your blood sugar and stress. This is the circadian rhythm and blood sugar dysregulation portion. So, one of the biggest things you can do to regulate all of your hormones is to get out in that morning sunlight. It's not entirely possible for everyone, depending on where you live, and I totally understand that. But as much as you can, try to get out in that morning sunlight. Even if it's cloudy, get outside. You're still absorbing the sunlight through your eyes and your skin. You want to minimize blue light at night. This can come in the form of stop watching TV, 1 to 2 hours before bed, stop looking at your phone. If you're just not going to stop looking at that stuff, you can do what I do and wear blue blocking glasses. Not the clear ones. The clear ones don't do anything. You need to wear the tinted ones. They need to be yellow, amber, red if you have severe sleep disruptions. And that is a great and easy way. It's a one-time investment, and it's not even that much money to get a pair of blue light blocking glasses, and they can really change the game when it comes to your sleep. Magnesium is also important in that as well. Side note, leafy greens are the best dietary source, or one of the best dietary sources of potassium as well. The focus is nutrient density, not dogmatic, eat what the cavemen ate and paleo, blah, blah, bullshit. We just want nutrients. That's the only thing that your body cares about. Minimize blue light at night, protein and healthy fats at every single meal. You can definitely include complex carbohydrates and eat like sweet potatoes, especially very nutrient dense. Fruits like berries and dates and figs and apricots. All of those are some of the most nutrient dense fruits that you can eat, and you can get tons of vitamin C for adrenal health and all that good stuff. And it's the whole food form. Digestive support, if you need it, if you really are having, burping and gas after you eat nearly anything, you need some digestive support. And that can also come in the form of bitters, right? So bitters stimulate stomach acid as well as bile flow. Bitters do all kinds of stuff in the body. You have bitter receptors in all over the place. It's actually kind of nuts. So these are the 3 steps to start your journey today and to begin to open things up, get things moving, fixing the terrain, the underlying terrain of your body so that the Candida calms down. We cannot kill our way to health. All right, guys. So to recap, Candida is not just about your sugar intake. It's a reflection, a deeper reflection of a body that is overloaded with toxins and nutrient deficiencies and is dysregulated. So all of that to say, those are the forms of stress. Those are the forms of stress that your doctor won't tell you about. Your doctor doesn't even really care about or even know about. So instead of just killing Candida, let's focus on fixing the underlying terrain. Start implementing these 3 steps, and you will begin to get more progress than you've probably had in the past. And then you can finally be done with Candida. Instead of just killing Candida, let's focus on creating an internal balance and fixing the terrain of the body. This is a way of saying, clean your house. If your body is your house, you need to clean it out. That's detox, that's nutrient replenishment, that's circadian rhythm function, and that's structure of your body. So look beyond the symptom. Are you detoxifying? Are you replenishing the nutrients? Are you regulating the things that need to be regulated? Are you living like a human? How we're supposed to live. And you can translate that. There's a way to translate that effectively into modern society. So, guys, if this clicked for you and you are looking for guidance, support, and personalized help, click the link in my bio below to fill out a systems survey and take the first step on reclaiming your health and getting back in the driver's seat. We'll go over the most important things that you can do in regards to your life, and we can talk about protocols that will be helpful for you along the way to actually really pull out the toxins, replenish the nutrients, fix the structure, and allow you to reclaim your vitality, your health, your balanced hormones, and all of the things. It is entirely possible when you choose to open your mind to it. So, if that sounds like something that you want to do, click the link below and let's get started. All right, guys, thanks again. Don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel. And always remember to keep questioning, keep digging. Your answers are out there. All right, I'll see you in the next video.